Get ready for news and views from Lubbock, Texas, USA. What's going on and real talk with people who move and do things. This is the Focus LBK Show with your host, Robert Jenkins.
Hey, what's good, LBK? This is your brother, Robert Jenkins, coming with episode 105 of the Focus LBK Show. This is actually season 3, 105, episode 105, meaning we have been doing this for 3 years now. This is the beginning of our third season. We'd like to say thank the Lord for blessing us with the health and the stamina and the patience and the equipment and the ability to do this. First of all, I mean, that right there, a lot of podcasts get started. There's millions of podcasts out there. Very few of them reach season 3, episode 105. And I will say to all those out there in the LBK, man, it's y'all's support that helps me do this. People always say that, thank you for your support. I'm not saying thank you for your support. I'm saying your support enables this. Sometimes it feels like you talking into the void. Sometimes it feels like you just running your mouth. But sometimes you get just enough feedback to say, oh man, somebody does care what we talking about. Somebody does enjoy what we doing. Somebody is getting value. How about that? Somebody is getting value out of what we doing. So the more y'all let us know, the more encouraged we feel, the more buoyed. Y'all know that word buoy, like a buoy in the ocean, a little thing that bounces and floats. We're buoyed on the waves of life as we try to fulfill our mission here with this podcast. When people talk to us, man, I get some surprising things from some surprising people saying, keep it going. Good job. Way to say it. Way to speak it. Agree wholeheartedly. Keep it 100. And it's people that, I don't think they want to be known, and I ain't going to tell on them. But they be saying encouraging words that keep us going. And like I say, I appreciate that, man. I'm just your friendly neighborhood podcaster up in here, trying to give some focus to LBK, trying to turn the camera lens on LBK and talk about things that pertain to us and show the type of people that we are and show the kind of things that we do. I'm just overjoyed to be in a community like Lubbock where you have some of the best people in the world doing some of the most amazing things, and yet at the same time, they be down to earth and humble people that you can just walk up to and be like, hey man, you want to be on the show? And they be like, yeah man, I want to be on the show. And then you can just sit right here and talk to them, or talk to them and go to their event and take pictures or make pictures or do an article or whatever. So thank y'all for supporting us through 3 seasons. We trying to elevate. We're gonna make some things paid and some things free, as we always have, but we're gonna strategically make certain things paid. But that's because we are elevating the content. We're trying to get better and better, and that takes money, time, and effort. So that's things that you like to receive a little money, time, and effort in return. You know what I'm saying? I think that's only fair. Shoot, this is a capitalist society. I love capitalism. But one thing I will say that I don't love, and the focus of today's show, see what I did there? Focus. Duh. Trying to make a pun that wasn't even that cool. But the focus of today's show, it's kind of a downer. I hate to even get into it. I don't really want to talk to it. I was just at Patterson Library covering. They unveiled or did a ribbon cutting for a book vending machine for the kids. You can come to the office and get some tokens for, I think, good behavior and stuff like that. But also, even if you just don't have a library card, or if you just want to read something and you're not able to check it out, you can get a token and put it in this vending machine. It's literally a vending machine with books in it. So we just was over there covering that event, and I heard somebody say when I was over there, I say, man, you know what I'm tired of hearing about? And they say, what? And the other person said, man, I'm tired of hearing about this Charlie Kirk stuff. And I will say they have just wore it out on TV. They really have just focused wall-to-wall coverage on that. And that puts me on edge, makes me a little wary of that wall-to-wall coverage, because this is what they do when they have a big publication or not a publication, but they have a big event that they want to publicize over and over again to start a movement or to drive action. That's called a psyop, in other words. I think I did a post the other day And I talked about exactly what a psyop was. And a psyop is when they use the repeated weaponized media coverage coupled with violence, strategic violence, and strategic traumatic events to cause changes in the behavior of a population. I feel like we're up under that right now. We are going through a psyop right now. The problem is, and what scares me, is I don't know where this psyop is going. I don't know exactly who is running the psyop. And I don't know exactly what the end goals are. It seemed to me that perhaps some of the end goals are further egging on of violence. So that's what we see. To me, the whole point of this Charlie Kirk thing is, and I guess what the topic of today's show, or maybe the title of today's show, is that there's a foul spirit. There's an evil spirit circulating among the land, wandering about like a lion, seeking whom he may devour. Y'all know who that is. If you be in your word, you know who do that. Y'all know who be roaming about seeking who to devour. Well, that spirit right now is roaming through this land, and you can see some stuff right here in the LBK that proves my point that there is an evil, a foul spirit about, and it ain't the right. It's foul people on both sides. It's evil spirits that inhabit people on both sides of the aisle. I'm a libertarian. I don't care about no left and right. I don't root for the blue team or the red team to see who get the rule over me. I want to be left alone. I want to have freedom. I'm a libertarian. I seek liberty. Liberty is the ability to be left alone as much as possible to run your own life the way you see fit, right? Neither the red nor the blue seeks that. The red team and the blue team both seek to control your life. They seek your permission through votes, through elected office, to run your life. That's what they seek. Permission to run your life as evidenced by votes, putting them into elected office. I don't give people permission to run my life. I wish to be left alone. But I was going to point out this incident that just happened the other day over there on Tech, on the campus. Apparently they got some kind of speaker's corner, free speech corner on the campus over there. And it was a young lady named Cameron Booker. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all saw it. And I tell you what, this young lady's behavior, we talking about a foul spirit running through the land, seeking whom they may devour. Well, she was devoured by that spirit. I would say, in my opinion, I ain't no minister, but I slept at a Motel 6 last night. How'd that commercial go? I'm sorry, that young lady, in the wake of somebody getting their head blown off, and she's, you know what she was doing? Did y'all see it? I put it right here. We're going to play it. I'm going to try to play it. If I can download it, I don't know if I can download it. She was running around. There was apparently some students on the Tech campus, or at least one student, having a vigil for Charlie Kirk. And Charlie Kirk's assassination is a tragic thing. It doesn't matter if you're on the left or right. If you kill somebody, a family man who is not doing anything but talking, if you call yourself a Christian, you cannot cheer for that. If you call yourself an American, that's not the American way. We're supposed to have free speech. See, there are certain people in this country that say stuff like, oh, hate speech ain't free speech. Yes, hate speech is free speech. Because first of all, what is hate speech? Today, hate speech is the same thing that yesterday the whole population knew to be 100% true. Today, saying that thing that's hate speech. Say anything about trans people, that's hate speech. No, it's not hate speech. Hate speech is when you hate somebody and you talk evil about them. But guess what? That's still free speech. In this country, you have the right to say hateful things. However, I will point out, I don't know if you've ever heard Charlie Kirk talk or watched any of his videos. I've actually watched quite a few of them. And I never saw him say anything hateful. What I saw is a young, articulate person sit there and respectfully give a microphone to college students who come up and spout the most insane stuff you've ever heard in your life. And I watched him sit there and calmly say, well, actually, blah, 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 and this and that and the other, and this is why that's wrong, and I'm a Christian, so I believe this and that, and this, blah, 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 blah. I've never seen him say anything hateful. Not to say that he hasn't, because I don't watch everything he make. I don't agree with everything he say. But all I can say is the things that I've seen is a person who calmly dismantles the silly nonsense that college students' heads seem to be filled with today. But that's hate speech. You see what I'm saying? So you get shot for actually just really doing nothing but calmly refuting things that people are saying. That's hate speech. You're a Nazi. Well, I got a news flash for you. Anytime somebody say that somebody on the right is a Nazi, or even somebody on the left, if you calling somebody a Nazi and nothing is happening to you, guess what? You're proving your own ignorance, and you're proving that what you're saying is a lie by the fact that you can say it with impunity. Guess what, folks? I read a little bit about Nazi Germany. Rise and Fall of the Third Reich by William Shirer. What's that other one? It's another big one. The Death's Head, Heinz Honer. I forget the name of that book. Big old thick books. Guess what? If you was in Nazi Germany, you didn't dare say nothing about the Nazis. Because guess what? You ain't going to be at work tomorrow. You're not going to be in class on Texas Tech if you actually live under a Nazi regime. That's how you know they lying, and they just spouting hot air. Nazis, boy, you did not say nothing against Der Fuhrer when you was in Nazi Germany. You didn't get on the internet and hold a bloody head up of Hitler's head if you was living in Nazi Germany. You didn't do that. You know why? Because your head will be up on a pike for real. You don't live in Nazi Germany. But this is how that spirit creeps in. I said there's an evil spirit roaming throughout the land. There is an evil spirit roaming throughout the land. And that evil spirit is enabled by people who tell bald-faced lies. It's a bunch of bald-faced lies. Apparently, college is one of the main places you need to go to hear these bald-faced lies. And that's weird too, man, because when I was in college, I went to Wiley College, HBCU. And it's two things. First, I had great professors who told me facts, who showed me how to find facts, how to do historiography. I was a history major. You know what historiography is? It's the cultivation and exploitation of sources of history, the original sources, the primary sources, they call them. Diaries, newspapers, people's speeches, people's writings, letters and stuff like that. That's primary sources. Now, if you have actual primary sources, and if you're actually reading those primary sources, that's how you come to conclusions from history, right? Historiography, the practice of the study of the science of how to write history, basically, I guess is what you would translate it to. That's the kind of stuff we learned. Well, apparently kids today at colleges all over the country, and it seemed like the more expensive the college, the more, this is true, they seem to be learning nonsense. If you have never watched one of Charlie Kirk's videos, watch them and see. You see the oddest creatures step up to the mic and challenge this man with just nonsense most of the time. And he would calmly say, well, blah, 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 and this, that, and the other, and A plus B equals C. Just refute him. That's not hate speech. If you're doing that, another guy that did that, what's that dude's name? I can't think of his name. Crowder, Louder with Crowder, Mug Club or something like that. Steven Crowder. He's another guy that would go on college campuses, white guy, conservative dude, and would go up there and say, change my mind. And he would let you sit at the table with him and talk to him. That's what America's supposed to be about. We claim to be a bastion of free speech. We claim to be the home of free speech. The First Amendment. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right to peaceably assemble and redress grievance. There's like five of them in there. I ain't got them right in front of me. I'm getting a little older now. That photographic memory is kind of like a Polaroid nowadays. You got to shake it for the memories to come back clear. But y'all get what I'm saying. We claim to be the home of free speech, and yet we have a generation, apparently, at least one or two generations of college kids who think you can, quote, punch a Nazi. That's what Antifa be talking about, punch a Nazi. Well, who is a Nazi? Anybody that's slightly to the right of you, you far left like Antifa and them. Anybody 1 inch to the right of you is a Nazi. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to punch a Nazi. Well, this girl on Tech's campus, what's her name? Cameron Booker. She apparently thought it was okay to. Oh, that video is. I can't even express to you how disgraceful she acted. How disgraceful was her conduct. If that was my daughter, I would feel utterly ashamed. I would feel like I failed as a father if that was my daughter. You got some kids on campus on the free speech corner or the free speech area, which is ridiculous in and of itself. College, this is America. This is a free speech zone. This whole country is supposed to be a free speech area. But on Tech, they got a free speech zone. And this young man, probably a conservative young white guy, was sitting there talking about Charlie Kirk and how shameful it was that he was assassinated or shot, murdered, while voicing his opinion. Wasn't even voicing his opinion. When the moment he was shot, he was literally asking for clarification about something on the guy's question. Talking about mass shootings. Do you know what the question was? Something like, do you know how many trans people have committed mass shootings or something to that effect? And Charlie Kirk was like, well, when you say mass shooting, what are you referring to? The reason he was asking that question, by the way, is because in this country, statistics, what do they say? There's lies, damn lies, and statistics. Statistics are the worst lies out there. This guy was saying that there's a whole sex segment of society on the left, basically, the extreme left, that uses these statistics about mass shootings. Charlie Kirk was seeking clarification because a mass shooting is I think it's 4 or more people getting shot at one time in one event, one incident. But guess what? The vast, vast majority of mass shootings are gang and drug related. So it's drug gangs and stuff like that, and Crips and Bloods and whatevers shooting at each other, killing more than one person. If you take that out, mass shootings are actually very rare. I say very rare. One is too many, but they're actually pretty rare if you take out all the 3 or 4 people that get shot every time some foolish gangbanger goes and shoots at somebody, ride by and spray at a crowd and kill 4 people. That's a mass shooting. So he was going to say, Steven Crowder was asking, well, if you take, what kind of mass shooting are you referring to? Are you referring to school shootings and workplace shootings where somebody comes in and kills a bunch of people? Or are you referring to all shootings that kill 4 or more people? Because that's very misleading. Taking out the gang violence, which is career criminals shooting at each other because they can't go to court because they're engaged in illegal activities. And Pookie and them ain't got your money over these drugs. You can't take them to court. You got to shoot them. That's the only way that's going to work. You see what I'm saying? Because you already engaged in illegality. If you take those kind of killings out, mass shootings are actually pretty rare. And if you look at the last several of them, they've been committed by trans people. At one in Nashville, there's even a trans serial killer group going on. Y'all, if y'all don't know about that, look up Mr. Andy No. NGO is I think he's Korean or something, from Portland. He was Antifa used to hate this cat. They used to beat him up, and they know him because he tells the truth about him. But let me get back to how this affects the LBK. So this young lady, Cameron Booker, like I said, when I looked at her, when I watched that video, all I could see was a demon. All I could see was some sort of infestation. All I could see was some sort of possession. Somebody is having a vigil, what is described as a vigil. I don't know, I wasn't there, but it's described in the papers as a vigil for Charlie Kirk. And she is jumping around in a celebratory manner, talking about, F your homie dead, he got shot in the neck. F your homie dead, he got shot in the neck. How disgraceful is that? And then the reason she got arrested and kicked out of school, because she hit the dude. She hit him upside his head. I think she's trying to knock his hat off. But as soon as she did it, he said, hey, that's assault. She hit me in the head. Even if she didn't touch his head, even if she just knocked his hat off, I still think, my understanding, that's assault. Do you see the connecting principle between what she did and what the killer of Charlie Kirk did? I do. Somebody is quietly saying something that you disagree with. You're acting a fool acting demon possessed, and then you initiate violence against them. What's the difference between throwing a punch and throwing a bullet? It's just a difference of degree. A punch can't usually hurt as much as a bullet, but you're still throwing something in anger. You're still causing violence in anger at somebody's speech that is supposedly free and protected. So in other words, there's actually no philosophical difference between her knocking the dude's hat off and the dude blowing Charlie Kirk's head off. You disagree with what somebody is quietly stating, speaking, free speech, and you think it's okay to physically attack them. That's the same sequence of thoughts that leads to killing somebody. Y'all see what I'm talking about? That's a demon. That's a possession. And you know how you open the doors to that type of possession? You know how you open up the doors to that kind of demon for him to come on in and devour you and cause you to devour others? You know how you do it? You do it by lying to people. You do it by being a figure in authority, an authority figure, a professor, or some kind of mayor or somebody that's at the head of something, and you lying to people. You telling people speech is violence. That's one of the things that I hear people on the left, not everybody on the left. Y'all know I ain't talking about everybody because I don't really care what your political persuasion is. All I care is how you treat me. Because I treat everybody that I meet with respect. I try to. You treat me like that, we cool. But there's people on the left, and this is a leftist thing, far left, left extremist, whatever you want to call it. Speech is violence. No, it's not. Violence is violence. Speech is speech. But you got a whole generation of college kids thinking speech is violence. Another lie they tell that let demons in is silence is violence. Silence ain't violence. Silence is silence. Keeping your mouth shut. What they say is better to keep your mouth shut and be thought a fool than to open it and remove all doubt. Sometimes people are silent because they busy or they don't know what you're talking about. They don't have an opinion on something. That ain't violence. That's called silence. Here's another big lie that lets these demons in. And this is something that people on the left have been instilling and drilling into black people's heads for decades now. Saying that people of color cannot be racist because we don't have power. That's bullcorn. Look up the actual definition of racism. Don't look in no new left dictionaries and online. Get you a dictionary from like 1970 and look at it. Racism is when you have a negative attitude and or take negative actions towards somebody based strictly on their race. You ain't got to have no power. And by the way, if you want to bring the power into the equation, let us look for real. People have different amounts of power in different situations. If you get pulled over by the cop got all the power. He got the city hall, he got a gun, he got a badge, he got a radio, he got all the power. If that cop off duty at the bar chilling and all you and your homeboys roll up on him and he ain't armed and y'all catch him in the alley, who got power now? See what I'm saying? So let's take that power out the equation of racism. Power doesn't have anything to do with race because power changes based on the scenario. You want to know, want to talk about power and race and racism? How about that brother who was clearly a demon in disguise who stabbed that young Ukrainian chick in the neck? Y'all seen that video? Disgusting. This dude sitting on a train full of black people ain't do nothing to them. Black people within arm's reach. He ain't even studying them. He over here half asleep, look like. As soon as the white girl get on the bus, a Ukrainian refugee, that's a whole other question. Why the heck is she over here? Why are we messing with her country so bad she got to come over here? Quit messing with people. Let them stay in their own country. She came from a war zone and lived in a war zone and made it alive to America. I'm laughing because of the irony. She made it from a war zone only to be killed by a demon in America. On a train. She had don't even get me started on that situation. First of all, she had no situational awareness whatsoever. Do not be on your phone in public. That's how you get your throat cut. That's how you get your head chopped off. You get on a train full of people in a big strange looking cat with a hoodie on with dreads on sitting right there, and you nonchalantly plop down in front of him and look at your phone. She doing this. Man, if you are in public, you are in potential danger, so you should not be on your phone. I digress. Let me get back on this. This demon on this train sitting here with all black folks, not even studying them like my grandma and them used to say. I ain't studying about them. He wasn't studying about none of them people. White girl get on the train. Within minutes, apparently, he pulling out his pocket knife. He literally and stabbed in the neck. And she's sitting there. She don't even know what happened. She's sitting there. She's like, what in the world just happened? She don't even know she died. She dead, basically. Now, in that situation, who had the power? So let's stop letting these fools tell you that racism depends on power. No, it doesn't. That same demon that stabbed her in the neck, when he was walking off bleeding because he stabbed her so hard his hand slipped on his knife and cut him all up. When he walking off bleeding, you know what he said? I got that white girl. That ain't racial. Who had the power in that situation? He did. So black people do have power. Brown people do have power. That when people tell you that you can't be racist because you ain't got power, that shows that they think you ain't. They think you a Rudy Poo. They think you are incapable of running anything. They think you are a weakling who doesn't have power. The reason they're telling you that is because they want to give you a sense of power by getting you to enlist in their movement and do what they want you to do. That's politics, by the way. That's why I don't play that game. So stop letting people lie to you. Stop lying to these babies out here and telling them that people of color can't be racist. Yes, they can. Some of the most racist people I ever met in my whole life are older black men from my dad's generation. Can't stand a white person. You know what I'm saying? Can't stand them. Make them want to spit. You can tell looking at them when they talk about white people. It make them want to spit. They are racist. And if they wanted to do something about white people, they would. They don't need no power. Power is situational. Anyway, that's a lie. Black people can't be racist because they don't have power. That's a lie. And that's how you let the devil in. Opening them doors to your soul with lies and falsehoods. I'm going to tell you another. I think I touched on this one. Another lie they tell you, hate speech. Hate speech in and of itself is a lie, because most of the stuff they call hate speech is stuff that, like I said earlier, that everybody knew to be true earlier today. But now it's later in the day. They didn't change their mind. So men can be women. What? Women can be men. Whoever say that kind of stuff, I wonder, have they ever been in a relationship with the opposite sex? Because why they call them the opposite sex? Because men and women, there are chasms of difference between us. Just how your significant other thinks that you don't think that same way. And you look at them and you go, that's how you see that? There are basic differences between men and women. And those basic differences start with biology and go all the way up to the thought process and philosophy and outlook on the world, the perception of things around them. It's rooted all in biology. That's a lie. When you have people so confused that they don't think that there's a difference between men and women. Well, if there's no difference between men and women, why you got to go get surgery to be the opposite? If there's no difference between them. See how confusion that is? Who spreads confusion? Anybody know? Raise your hand if you know who be roaming throughout the land spreading lies and confusion. Here's another lie that contributes to black people being privileged, overprivileged, and insulated from the consequences of their actions until they mess around and find out. You know what I'm talking about? They tell us that police are hunting black people. That is a lie. Police do not hunt black people. If police were hunting black people, there would not be any black people left. Simply put, police don't have to hunt us. We hunt ourselves. Police are hunting black people. First of all, police don't come unless somebody call them or unless they see you doing something obviously wrong. If you acting like you got some sense, you almost never come in contact with a police officer of any sort for any reason. So clearly they not hunting you, because all you got to do is act right and you won't ever see one, hardly. I'm one to talk because y'all know I like to speed. I like to drive fast. I don't know why. I'm trying to calm down. I'm working on it. They didn't stop me a couple times. And guess what they didn't do when they stopped me? They didn't kill me. You know why? Because I acted like I had some sense. All you got to do if you think police are hunting black people is consider the fact that there are millions of police interactions with civilians every year. Millions, probably tens of millions. All across this country every year, civilians come in contact with police officers tens of millions of times. And yet, according to the FBI annual crime statistics, according to the Washington Post police brutality database, you know how many, on average, unarmed black men get shot by police? On average, it's between 12 and 20 a year. 12 and 20 a year. And usually when you read the case, it be some reasons in there why that happened. But let's take that out and just look at the numbers. Police are hunting black people, right? But only 12 to 20 black men are killed every year. Unarmed black men are killed every year by police on average, despite the fact that there are millions, probably tens of millions of interactions every year between police and civilians. That don't sound like hunting to me. And by the way, body cameras have backfired. Y'all know that? All the activists out there was talking about all the body cameras gonna show that police is racist and all the stuff they be doing. Know what I see on body cams? People wilding out, a lot of whom are black, acting like they don't understand the concept of what a police officer is. Charging police officers with weapons in their hand, trying to run them over with cars, not following simple instructions. The kind of stuff that gets you arrested and beat up and sometimes killed, that kind of stuff. That's what body cams show. And y'all know what? I don't even like police. I ain't gonna lie to you because I'm a grown man. I don't need to be policed. So I don't have nothing to do with police if possible. I don't want to see them, don't want to be around them. So I ain't no friend to the police. I'm just telling you straight up. The stuff you see on body cam videos is like, wow. What does this person think they are? What do they think police are? That's called privilege. When you think you can do a mouth off to police and not follow instructions. That's what body cams show. Body cams show that far from police hunting black people or black men, body cams show that many people, including black people, act a fool in front of the police. And that's why they get took down and arrested and beat up and tased and shot. I've seen police officers walk up to a car and haven't even spoken to the person yet and get shot at. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang, I used to want to be a cop when I was younger. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. That's a lie, though. Police are hunting black people. When you feel like police are hunting you, you live in a society where police is hunting you. Contrary to all the evidence, by the way. But when you start feeling like that and start feeling like you persecuted by the police, this is why people act bad to the police. This is why people don't show respect to the police. This is why people get killed by the police because they act bad and don't show respect. You see how you let the devil in with these lies? Whoever's spreading them lies, you causing these people to get killed. Because you're lying to people about reality. Shoot. Body cams is a double-edged sword. The stuff I see on body cams, I just, my mouth drops open in disbelief sometimes. Like, they did that? Wow. Man. I guess what I'm saying to you folks is, somebody is pushing this. I alluded to this earlier. The people who tell lies about reality are pushing and causing this violence. Then there are other people out there who replay this violence over and over again and offer commentary in such a way that it's designed to make you mad. It's people out there who do things on purpose, in other words, to make you have a reaction using the media. That, my friends, is called a PSYOP, psychological operations, psychological warfare operations. It's a military thing. It's a military intelligence tactic. Man, we got to stop this. You got people out here. You got transsexual groups out here, militant transsexuals, talking about they're posing with guns and stuff, talking about they taking out fascists and homophobes and transphobes and stuff. You got black people out here with running around with rifles and trying to be tough and hard. And you know what I got to say to that, man? It remind me of Outkast, that Outkast song. I think, was it on Aquemini or was it on AT Aliens? I can't remember. But Andre 3000 say, while you ranting and raving about gats, Ninja, they made them gats. They got some stuff that'll blow out our back from where they stay at. He said, while you out here ranting and raving about gats, they, meaning white people, make those gats. They got some stuff that'll blow out your back from where they stay at. These cats running around like they oppressed in a country where ain't nobody doing nothing to them, despite all the antics that we see. It's only just now that people are starting to say, well, hold up, man, these people acting crazy. Y'all better cool it. That's why that article I wrote the other day, you ranting and raving about gats. Well, they made them gats. Whoever is pushing you, whoever is whispering in your ear, whoever is on your media feed, your news feed, talking about police is hunting black people, everybody is a Nazi, everybody is this, everybody is transphobic, everybody dysphobic. Seriously, we got to stop listening to those folks. Because you know why? Those are the folks who are going to benefit when society, if somehow we do get pushed into some kind of civil war, some kind of big conflagration, those are the people who are going to be sitting back, getting all that stock market cheddar, getting all that real estate cheddar. Y'all, that's like when they burnt down Minneapolis over that drug addict, criminal George Floyd. When they burnt down Minneapolis over that fool and destroyed all them black businesses in that neighborhood, by the way. Billions of dollars worth of damage throughout the country. In whose neighborhood? Your neighborhood that burnt it down. To this day, in that neighborhood in Minneapolis, that businesses are not thriving. Businesses cannot come back. There's struggling black business owners who lost their livelihoods over that George Floyd nonsense. Have y'all, by the way, speaking of weaponized media and psychological operations, have you seen the whole George Floyd body cam footage? I urge you to look at that if you haven't. It's kind of rough, but it's only the last 8 minutes that's really rough. The first 30 minutes is like, what kind of fool is this? What is wrong with this dude? Talking about George Floyd, not the cops. His conduct was disgraceful and embarrassing and led directly to his death. This young lady on tech, demon possessed, just like George Floyd. That's what I'm starting to think. The older I get, I look at how people act, I just be like, yeah, I know you don't think that's cool. I know you don't think that's right. You should be ashamed of yourself for being that way, behaving that way. I mean, when I was in the military, I had a homeboy. I ain't gonna say his name because I don't know if he want to be put on blast. But he was asking me, we was talking about something, having a little discussion, going back and forth. So you just care about people's behavior. That's what he said to me. And I thought that was the strangest thing I ever heard. I looked at him like, well, yeah, I care about people's behavior. People's behavior is the starting point for everything that happens to them in life. Yes, I care about demon-possessed people at a vigil. Okay, let me tell you something. Let me draw a comparison for you. This little girl on tech campus hitting that cat upside the head, trying to knock his hat off or whatever she did. If you watch the video, she was foolishly disgraceful. Just stupid behavior. But here's the question. Let's reframe this a little bit and see something. Let's run a thought experiment. A few months ago, downtown, over there by the courthouse, I had the occasion to cover something of a vigil for another young person who was killed. His name was Erskine Jenkins. He's no relation to me that I know of, or my family that I know of. But this young man was killed by a sheriff's deputy. Again, behavior, not getting hunted. Look into the situation. I'm sorry to say, you got holding people hostage in a house. It's on body cam footage. Every witness come out the house scared. They have to sneak out saying he's holding people hostage. He's got a gun. Cop deputy comes around the back, sees the guy with a gun, shoots him. They cut the video off a little too early for me. I would like to see what happened just before he shot him. I want to see, did he actually raise the gun up and point it at him? The point is, his behavior led to what happened. And I'm sad to say it, but it's true. But here we are at his vigil. I'm covering it. Covered a couple of events about Mr. Jenkins, young Mr. Jenkins. And nobody came up when the people were saying, say his name, put some respect on his name, Erskine Jenkins. What if somebody had come up doing some sort of stupid dance talking about, your homie dead, he shot in the head? Huh. You'd be mad in the mug if you was out there, if that was your loved one, wouldn't you? That was somebody you knew, somebody you felt the connection with that you was grieving about. You'd be ready to fight, wouldn't you? It would probably be a fight, wouldn't it? Do you see how demonic that is? That's why that young lady's behavior, I say, was it was spirit infused. And I don't mean the Holy Spirit. I used to wonder, like, when people say the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of Jesus and all that, Spirit of God, you'd be wondering, like, what do they mean by that? And I realized you don't have to be all metaphysical about it. You ain't got to be all supernatural about it. It's the spirit in which God would have you do things. It's the spirit in which we can read the Bible and see that Jesus did things. That is the spirit. That is being spirit filled. When you operate according to the spirit in which Jesus did things, the spirit in which God would have you operate. Right? That's being spirit filled. That's having the Holy Spirit in you. The Holy Ghost, they call it. But that's why I say this behavior that we're seeing, people laughing and glorifying the murder of other people, that's spirit infused too. But it ain't the Holy Spirit. It ain't the Holy Spirit. I tell you what. LBK, man, please stop lying to the people. If you are a person of influence and a person of power, don't lie. Don't tell people demonstrable falsehoods to impressionable people. Unless, of course, your intent is to open doors in them so that the Spirit can come in, not the Holy Spirit, other spirits. All right, LBK, this is your brother, Robert Jenkins, signing off. This is episode 105. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for supporting us. Continue to keep it locked right here. We're going to keep reporting. And I have to apologize. I forgot to, I was so busy getting out stories this weekend, I forgot to put out what's going on. But we're going to put that out this week too, though. All right. Y'all stay tuned for that and keep it locked right here. All right. Peace.
Get ready for news and views from Lubbock, Texas, USA. What's going on and real talk with people who move and do things. This is the Focus LBK Show with your host, Robert Jenkins.